Scar's leader still aids humans, enraging Scar, who's then caught by two soldiers in confusion. Luckily, humans are no longer the top dogs on Earth and don't dare shoot, so Scar manages to play dumb and slip away, burning with anger as he heads back to his town. He wanted to report on the humans to Caesar, but ended up running into this heartwarming scene that made him want to throw in the towel. He tried to cause trouble, but Feifei, the calm one, stopped him. The leader's plan couldn't be disrupted, so Scar shouted Caesar's name. Completely lost his past respect. Even when Caesar showed up fuming, Scar didn't flinch at all. His remarks were not only unrelentingly harsh, but also extremely inciting, which eventually made Caesar reach his breaking point, and in a fit of rage, Caesar lunged at him and knocked him down to the ground. Caesar unleashed his fury on Scar, his anger fogging his judgment, looking like he was ready to fight to the finish. Scar was blooded but wouldn't dare fight back, and in the end, Caesar still stopped because he believed you shouldn't kill your own. Caesar spared Scar, but his actions dismayed the clan. Scar, looking vicious, vowed to beg the leader's pardon, but as he reached out to touch Caesar's hand, it was like he got shocked, quickly pulling back. Caesar's authority was crumbling. Even his son didn't want to listen to him anymore, and things were getting serious as Scar began to plot rebellion, thinking Caesar could no longer lead the clan. For this, he naively reported to Caesar about the humans, but then he returned to human territory, and his aim this time was to grab the Then he hurried back to his territory and killed the human Old Six under the cover of night, but all he wanted was the lighter in Old Six. Meanwhile, the power plant was being restored, and Caesar was overwhelmed by humans, getting completely taken aback by Scar. Scar was in a hurry, trying to regroup under the cover of night, but he was easily scattered by the humans. He rushed back to his ground, preparing to launch a surprise attack on humans again, but it was just another dramatic performance. But his aim still remained just the lighter in Old Six hand, while the power station had been restored to working order and cooperation. Under the glow of civilization, humans and mutants finally struck up a trust, and Caesar graciously invited humans to the highest point of the territory to share the light of city civilization. Moved by two clans' peaceful vision, shadows lurking in dark stood, and cleansing, at Scar's behest, discarded the lighter. He lit the pre-prepared dry grass, cleansing, hidden in darkness, approached Caesar, who stared in shock at his once loyal follower. Just then, he was hit by a bullet and teetered on the edge of the abyss, sending the entire group into chaos. Caesar's son, Blue Copper Alliance, rushed over to check, but all he found was a dropped human machine gun. By now, the fire had spread, and Blue Copper, filled with grief and anger, jumped onto the platform, raising his weapon. At a crucial moment, Fiery Alliance urged humans to flee. Scar jumped on stage to fuel hatred, and the vengeance drama began. Cleansings were enraged, and Scar seized the chance to order pursuit of the fleeing humans, executing his scheme. Under the flames, all but the elderly, weak, and children rushed like a tide to human settlements, fleeing downhill. They dodged the star attacks, and luckily, they weren't the main targets hiding under trees trying to survive. However, the city's gathering place suffered, as civilization's flames reignited. All thought it would rebuild, while the officer charged his forgotten tablet. Reflecting on the good old days from old photos, while the soldiers from the information department broadcast messages trying to rescue nearby. Meanwhile, they were oblivious the Scar's troops were already on their doorstep, and after a few gunshots, the Stars quickly breached the humans' defenses. They charged toward the ammunition depot, and the joyous whole was instantly drowned out by the blaring of soldiers rushed to defend the walls, and the officer paused to guide a young recruit on how to use a weapon. This is the battle for humanity's fate. No one stands aside. In the armory, Stars have fully taken over, distributing human weapons. Scar handed a machine gun to Blue Copper, encouraging him to take it to the humans. The spirit of revenge was starting to take shape. However, the humans' defenses held firm behind the thick walls, while the officer kept trying to rally troops for the pre-battle motivation. Meanwhile, Stars rushed in with unstoppable force onto the dark sky. Humans and mutants began their battle. First human-mutant battle, enemy unseen. Bullets rained as people stood unprepared. The human army was suppressed to the point of helplessness, but while the Stars' attack was ferocious, none of them hit anyone because they were too far away. Humans swiftly counter-attacked, alternating weapons to fire at Stars' positions, with lab blasts erupting. Chaos erupted among the Stars, with Scar, the so-called leader, also taking a tumble in the first round of attacks. Caesar's son, Blue Copper, soon followed suit, falling off his horse. For the first time, the young prince understood just how brutal war. Scar brushed himself off unscathed, picking up a dropped gun without any concern, and instructed his people to keep attacking. Subtitles: the battle continues. Countless Stars die. Blue Copper hides behind a car, watching the scene, finally grasping his father's intent. Kind Stars started aiding their wounded, when another shell struck, killing several amidst the boom. Even Saviors got swept up in the death tide, but Scar's no Caesar, he ignored clan losses, eager to seize the human stronghold fast. Scar turned and dashed back, snatching a fellow's mount, and charged forward toward the human lines, casually picking up a firearm on the ground. While running, he barked orders to his kin to stop rescuing the injured, focusing solely on the offensive against the human gathering. Humans suffer their first casualty. The officer, shocked and furious, orders a rocket launcher fired. Accurately hit the gas barrels outside, stalling the Star's offensive, but the ensuing flames also obscured humans' visibility. Under Scar's orders, several Stars immediately crawled up the lampposts, turning ground combat into three-dimensional warfare.